Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much for once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside, a little bit of smokiness of that lap song. Love it, love it, love it. Over here, I'm down in South Florida. We have this hurricane type of thing going on, whereas we have like just bursts of just horrible weather. So if I get cut off during this recording, I'm probably gonna have to do it a few times. I don't know. The weather is horrible outside, horrible. Anyways, we'll get through it. We always do in South Florida. There's always something going on when it comes to storms. We either get tropical storms or hurricanes. We get them on a regular basis. So we've been doing pretty good lately, but I don't know. Hopefully the season is almost over. So anyways, today is going to be a Nikon day, and I'm going to just simply do an update to the video that I did last week, because I took a look at one of the Nikkei articles from last week, and it gave a little bit more guidance as to what Nikon is going to do in this consolidation period, this cutting of the fat, as we say, that is happening over there, because they really cannot sustain this current horrible level of sales. They're bleeding and they need to stop the bleed. And they speak about it in this article, and I wanted to kind of bring it up to you so you can see. Now, the video that I'm referencing is this one right over here. This Nikon gives up on consumer cameras. And we can see there's like 5,000 plus views on it. A lot of people were talking about it. We have over 200 comments back and forth. So there's a lot of interaction with this video because people want to know what the heck is going on with Nikon, right? We know they've been having some rough times, but now Nikon Formal is saying, yes, we're having some rough times. Our fiscal year ending just doesn't look well. It just simply doesn't. So what I want to do is I want to get into that article, read it with you, and then discuss it a little bit and see if we can get some guidance as far as where Nikon is going forward, right? So let me flip back over and bring this article up. Where is it? All right, here we go. Nikon cuts 2,000 overseas production consolidation due to camera performance deterioration. Now, before I start, this is giving validity to what I predicted in my last video when they were kind of alluding to this consolidation. And I was saying this is going to have to do with people also. They are going to start consolidating people, either bringing in the people in tighter and making them do multiple jobs and just getting rid of others, but they're going to have to do something. And this is once again validating what I was talking about in my last video. So let's jump back. Let me first say that sometimes the translation here from Japanese to English is not fabulous. So where I see like they're getting it wrong, I'll try to jump in if I don't miss it. So it says Nikon announces on the 5th that it will reduce the number of employees overseas by more than 2,000, about 20% of its total overseas, by March 2022, with the rise of smartphones and the expansion of the new coronavirus. Now, guys, is that telltale? Is there an old corona and a new? Is there something new that I missed here? Is there like not COVID-19? Is there a COVID-20 or something? I don't know what that is. That could be in translation, but I don't really know. They're saying new coronavirus. Let's hope not. Anyways, back to this. Once again, with the rise of smartphones and the expansion of the new coronavirus, the performance of the main camera business is deteriorating. We will consolidate the manufacturing of camera bodies from Miyagi Prefecture to Thailand and hurry to reduce the costs by integrating sales companies. Now, translation to that is basically we are going to consolidate our manufacturing, move a bunch of it over from Japan, which is Miyagi, Japan, over to Thailand in hopes to reduce cost, right? So they must be able to produce it cheaper, their equipment, their ICs, all the rest of the stuff in Thailand in comparison to their own country. That being said, remember, they're still going to be reducing jobs. So the people over there in Thailand are probably going to get hit also, because most likely they're going to have to cut them. We'll get to that in just a minute. Also, what they said is they want to, or they need to hurry in this integration of their sales company, their sales force. Okay. Once again, shrinkage. They have to do it. They don't have a choice at this point. And we'll see why in just a second. All right, moving down here. Now, this is a quote. It's important to fit the entire company in a way that is commensurate with the scale of sales. What are they saying here, guys? Basically, reduction, reduction, reduction. If we're selling X, okay, the size has to be reduced to be able to sell X and still be profitable. Right now, they are not profitable. They are bleeding. Their P&L is out of whack. It's upside down. We'll see that in just a second. They continue with, at the financial results briefing on the same day, the president stated that he would reduce the number of overseas employees to just under 60% of the level as of the fiscal year ended March 31, 2017. Once again, 60% of that level back in 2017. Maintain overseas factories, but reduce production personnel according to sales scale. Once again, like they said, it needs to be incommensurate to the amount of sales. We cannot have people sitting around here when we're not selling the cameras. The sales company will also reduce the number of staff by reorganizing. So that is not only going to be in production, but that's also going to be the staff internal to Japan. They're going to have to reduce this staff based on sales. All right. Incommensurate of sales. Okay. If you're not selling enough, you can't have people sitting around there selling nothing. It's just not going to happen. So we have to reduce our workforce no matter what. Let's get back in here. The production function of the digital SLR camera body, which is handled at the factory in Miyagi Prefecture, will be transferred to the factory in Thailand. Once again, we're moving that digital SLR camera body manufacturing into Thailand. Miyagi Prefecture will continue to produce LiDAR, a 3D radar sensor used for autonomous driving and inspection equipment for cameras, and the number of domestic employees will not decrease. Though a series of rationalization, the company-wide cost will be reduced by more than 80 billion yen. 80 billion yen, guys. Let's move on. The consolidated final P&L International Financial Report Standards for the April to September period of 2008 announced on the 5th was deficient of 31.5 billion yen, a surplus of 16.3 billion yen in the same period the previous year. Now, let me correct this for you guys. That September 2008 period that they're stating is actually March 2021. All right. This fiscal year. This is a translation problem, but just so you know, we're talking about this fiscal year, and they are deficient that 31.5 billion, where they were ahead of the game, let's say 16.3 billion. Let me transfer over. So if we just do the math here, let me bring my calculator over here. If we do that 31.5 plus the 16.3, we're looking at 47.8 billion yen. All right. So let's just call it an even 50 billion yen. That is a bunch, guys. That is a bunch. They continue by saying sales of digital cameras are returning, but the profits were pushed down by recording a total of 29.6 billion yen, including impairment loss on production equipment and valuation loss on inventories for the full year ending March 31, 2009. The precision machinery business, such as semiconductor devices, will also struggle, and the final deficient of 50 billion yen is expected. So once again, that 47 billion that we came up with here is what they're saying with this 50 billion. This 09 they're talking about is not 09. This right here is that March 2021, I believe. We're just talking about, obviously, the fiscal year of this year. And if we look at this chart here, we can see here we have 1703, which is March 2017, all the way up to 2021 is what they're referring to. And right here, we can see that deficiency, massive deficiency. All right. Anyways, moving on. Nikon has dominated the market with Canon and SLR cameras for many years, but its entry into mirrorless cameras has been delayed. Panasonic and Olympus pioneered in 2008, and Sony expanded its market share for professionals. Nikon had a full-scale entry in 2018, but in 2019, it was overtaken by Sony in terms of digital camera shipments and fell to third place. Now, we talked about that probably about 2 or 3, 4 videos ago, how I've always said that Canon and Nikon are, let's say, 2 legs on one body. Canon would take a step forward, and then Nikon would take a step forward, and then Canon, and then Nikon. They always wait for each other, and that is how the market has moved forward for a decade or two. Canon and Nikon. Well, that has changed. Nikon is no longer that leg. Now Sony is that leg, where Sony will take a step forward and then Canon, and then Sony, and then Canon, and Nikon is sitting there as like the third leg. That didn't really come out right, but let's just say, you know what I'm saying, right? You know what I mean? They are no longer in that second position, which is really sad. Anyways, let's go on. In the second half of this year, we aim to recover by introducing 3 new mirrorless models. Now, 3 new mirrorless models. I'm going to venture to say that those 3 models are probably 2 of them being the Z7 and the Z6 Mark IIs, and they're probably going to come out with 1 new model this year, this fiscal year. That's my prediction, but who knows? This might be right, and the 3 is actually 3 new over the Z7 Mark II and the Z6 Mark II, but I just don't think so. Anyways, moving on. However, the spread of the new COVID virus has hit the entire market. According to research firm Technosystem Research out of Tokyo, the number of digital cameras shipped worldwide in 20 years, that's supposed to be in 2020 or 2021, is expected to be 8 million units, which is almost half of what was in 2019. So as we can see, we're looking at, once again, a halving, and another halving. That is what's been going on. It's like Moore's law in reverse for ICs. We know Moore's law that states that the ICs, or the number of components on ICs, they double every 2 years. The camera industry, the digital camera industry, is like Moore's law in reverse, doubling in reverse, right? It's going in half and half and half and half every year or two. It is abysmal. And like they said at the very beginning of this article, which we've ended here, is that a lot of it has to do with the uprising of the smartphones. Those cameras on those smartphones are really hard to compete with when people are spending $600, $800, $1,000, $1,200 for a phone. The phone they need, the camera in their pocket they don't need. And this is why, like I said in my last video, Nikon has said it's enough when it comes to the consumer market. These cameras are not selling. We're not selling enough of them because of the smartphones. Now, someone in the last video, in the comment area, said, well, what's being reduced? Only cool pics? Well, kind of, yeah, but it's a massive number. Let me go and bring this up on the screen so you could see it. Let me flip over here. So you see this? These are the cameras that are going to be going the way of the dinosaur. We have the Coolpix series. Now look at this series. We're not talking about just a few. All right, we're talking about a lot. Look at all of these. You know, we have the P series, the S series. Look at them all. We have the AW series, the L series, the B series, and then other. Look at all of these cameras. These are the cameras right here that will be going bye-bye. Why? Like I said, there's not enough want. There's not enough desire. There's not enough money in it. The P&L, the profit to loss, is just not there. It costs more to make than the money that you're making from it. So they need to cut the fat. And I said this in videos ago. This is not a Nikon problem. All right. This is an industry problem. Like I said in my last video, I could have changed the name of the video and just substituted Nikon, all right, for Canon or for Sony or for Panasonic, for whoever. All right. They're going to have to make these cuts There's no two ways about it. When it comes to the consumer market, those consumers are not buying those cameras. And that's why Nikon's saying, hey, we need to look at the enthusiast market and we need to look at the professional market and we need to focus on them because that's where we're going to make our money. Okay? Simple as that. That amateur market or that consumer market is not helping our P&L at all. Period. We need to cut it. So that's what's going to happen. And we see here that they're going to be layoffs. As I predicted in the last video, it's inevitable. 20%, 2,000 jobs lost. All right. And we're going to move stuff from Japan over to Thailand. We're going to keep LiDAR and some of the more higher end stuff. I'm going to say probably medical equipment and stuff. They'll probably keep in Japan. But all of their bodies that we see, Nikon's bodies are going to be produced in Thailand. That's it. All right. It's just cheaper for them to do that. So I want to know what you guys think about all this. All right. I really want to know what you think. Do you think that this is really smart that Nikon is doing this and they're moving forward at this breakneck speed to try to reverse this deterioration of the business, this P&L that's literally upside down now? All right. Their losses are much bigger than their profits. And you can only do that for so long before you have to say that's the end of it. Like what happened with Olympus. Olympus couldn't do it anymore. And they ended up having to sell their camera division. They kept their other divisions, but cameras just had to go. All right. Because people weren't buying them. Why? Because those cameras are very, very high priced for a very small sensor. And today, everyone is all about full frame, which I predicted a year ago. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? You're an idiot. Micro Four Thirds is all you need. You don't need anything else. APS-C, maximum. Now we're seeing that that's not the case. Even if it was the case, it doesn't matter because the perception is still full frame is better. I don't care if it is or not. And for some people that are like birders or some people that are doing some sports that need like that extended telephoto, right? That extended reach, APS-C is probably better for them, right? So it might not be the case, but still, like I said, it has to do with perception. And the perception today is if you don't have a full frame mirrorless camera, all right, then you're not a professional or you're not doing it right or whatever. Okay, that is the perception. So that's what's selling. So once again, they need to make what is selling. And by cutting the fat on all of this Coolpix stuff, they'll be able to cut that line out of there, pull it out of their assembly lines, and now spend more time assembling stuff that actually sells. Right? So, I mean, it's kind of sad. To me, I don't like to see this at all. I hate to see the industry falling apart the way it is. I mean, it's really not doing well at all. And a lot of it has to do with the advent of the really, really good camera phones, all right? These smartphones that have just amazing cameras in them. But I think the majority of it has to do with the era that we live in. The era is the good enough era. That's why I've always called it. What does that mean? I don't care what field that you're in, all right, that you're watching me right now. You could probably attest to and understand and actually see in the work that you do, people all around you saying, oh, that's good enough. Oh yeah, that's good enough. In our industry, it's like portraiture. All right. Take a picture with your iPhone. You use it in a magazine as your headshot. Why? Because it's good enough. You don't pay the professional that can actually do an amazing job to do the portrait. You use your iPhone. Okay. Same thing with people in real estate. Oh yeah, we just hold up our camera that's on our phone that looks like crap and take these photographs. Okay. And then put those in the MLS. Now, what do you get out of that? They're shitty photographs, basically, but it's good enough. Once again, it's good enough. And it's sad to me. We live in sad times when we no longer want to be stellar. We want to be mediocre. I really hate that. I've always said that we're going to eventually get to a time where we can say mediocrity is no longer acceptable. Be stellar or be nothing. Now, I coined that many years ago, and I don't think that it's here yet. I really don't. Mediocrity is no longer acceptable. Be stellar or be nothing. All right. I made a shirt of it, I believe. You probably could take a look down below in my merch, all right? Along with Life After Adobe, Cutting the Cord, and Photo, and Tea Time, and all these other shirts and caps and mugs and stuff. Check it out. If you want to pick something up, sports channel, go ahead and do that. But that's just the point. Once again, mediocrity, 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 all right? And the good enough era that we live in. People do not strive to be amazing today. They just strive to be good enough. Anyways, that's kind of my rant for today. I just wanted to bring this full circle to last week's video. We spoke about Nikon and where they sit as of right now, and the idea that they are going to have to cut 20% of the workforce. Most of those jobs will be overseas jobs, and they'll also have to consolidate the sales force. They don't have a choice. It is a necessity. All right. And I just hope that this what they're doing here will prove effective when we see the results for the next fiscal year. All right. And we can turn it around. And now Nikon could be, instead of in the toilet, let's say, floating. All right. We need to see Nikon float. We cannot see Nikon go the way of the dodo bird, as we see Olympus's camera division has. As I've always said, we need a bunch. We need a lot of competition. The more competition we have, the better it is for you, the better it is for me, the better it is for the industry. Why? Because competition breeds innovation. No competition breeds iteration. I don't want an iterative camera. I want an innovative camera with new features, stuff that really makes me want to buy it. If it's an iteration, as we've seen with a lot of cameras as of late, people won't buy them, right? People will not buy them. Canon, M50, Mark II, iteration. It is not an innovation. Iteration, perfect example. It'll still sell well, but there's nothing there. There's no meat on the bones. Some people are saying the same thing with Nikon's Z6 and Z7 Mark IIs. All right, there's a lot of new stuff there, but nothing wow. You know, we could put a grip on it now and we could do little things, and it's like, you really need to grab it. And I think that these manufacturers are going to have to do that. Give us a reason why to buy the next body and not use our current body or simply go on the used market or refurbished market and simply get older cameras. We're getting to that point where people are really looking at older cameras and saying, you know what? Those are, once again, what do I say? Good enough. Simply good enough. Anyways, guys, I'm going to finish my tea here. I know it was a long rant, but I had to get that out because a lot of people were talking about, don't talk about Nikon, this could happen with all manufacturers. And like I said in the last video, absolutely. I could just replace the name Nikon with Canon or Sony or whoever. This is the exact same thing that's going to happen to all of them if they don't get it right. And that is trimming the fat. So anyways, guys, I'm out of here. If you have not downloaded my ebook as of yet, go pick it up. 10 tips at making tack sharp images. There's something in there for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're an amateur, a pro-am, or a professional. 10 tips for making tack sharp images. There's something there for everyone. Go to JCristina.com/ebook. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. Let's have these conversations down here below in the comment area. After that, head over with me to our creative Discord server. Go over to community.jcristina.com. Once again, community.jcristina.com. Hang out there with me. Let's chat. I'm there all the time. If you have any questions, there's a lot of brilliant people. As you see in the comment area below all of my videos, no trolls. Okay, smart people. You ask any of them questions, they're going to give you a ton of information, quality information. Also, if you haven't subscribed to this channel as of yet, I would like to know why. We're at like 400 plus videos. I think there's a lot of good stuff on here. If you haven't went through some of my stuff, go check it out. If you haven't went to my Life After Adobe Cutting the Cord series, where I teach you how to cut the cord from Adobe and I review a ton of product, go check that out. There is a lot of information on this channel. Also, if you like this content even a little bit, throw it a big thumbs up. That would be absolutely stellar. And click this little bell icon right over here. If you do, when I come out with a new video or if I go live, you'll be notified of it immediately. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years. And hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That would be absolutely awesome. So that's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet another video. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe and stay healthy.